Get your phone out of my face.
You people. The American public this week got a good up-close and personal look at the United States Senate. In accordance, I'm going to address you people in the Senate. I am using that term because it's politically incorrect, racist, and downright insulting to the new royalty you people have placed above and beyond the huddled masses yearning to make a living. We look and hope for bipartisan cooperation in our government that will enact legislation that will benefit as many Americans as humanly possible. We are a republic, not a democracy. That means we elect representatives that we trust will convey our desires to Washington. Since it is physically impossible to squeeze 300 million of us into the Senate chamber, we pick 100 of you to be our voice. To bring it down to a manageable level, you people have done that job well. You boiled it down to the interests of 100 people. You people. I refuse to elaborate on last week's hearing. I use that word loosely. It wasn't a hearing, it was a feeding frenzy. What I will say is that you people had the battle lines drawn before the first contestant ever raised his or her right hand. When the games began, all protocol was tossed to the wayside. Interruption was the order of the day. If it had been a court of law, most of you would have been held in contempt. If it had been Judge Roy Bean's court, you would have been hung. What ensued was an oxymoron. With all the politely worded apologies, the character and integrity of both witnesses was impugned. Nothing substantial came out and no minds were changed. Forget the nomination. We learned nothing from this hearing except the United States senators don't have the cognitive abilities of a part-time high school girl taking an order at McDonald's. You people stumbled through the hearing with one side trying to ignore witnesses and rush to confirmation, while the other side tried to divert, stall, and end the entire process while nothing was done to achieve a logical conclusion based on the nominee's judicial abilities. The nominee's court record was swept under the rug as high school beer busts became the order of the day. If you people behaved like that in the call center, you would have been written up by your manager and sent for retraining. You people do not deserve and did not serve the American people this week. You people showed your collective asses. Instead of educated, revealing questions, you people attacked the witnesses with such veracity that they both behaved out of character. In both their defenses, and to quote the words of Winston Churchill, you cannot reason with a tiger when your head is in its mouth. No matter how the confirmation vote goes, it will be a lie because you people spoke it. Whatever comes out, it will not serve the interests of the American people because you people aren't interested in the interests of the American people. You are interested in propagating the interests of the 100. All your fancy words and elegant speeches will not hide what we all saw last week. Will this affect the midterm? Who knows? It doesn't matter. We'll still have you people calling the shots. One from column A, one from column B. It's all fried rice in the end. As I've said before, there is a great cosmic pendulum. It swings in history, life, and politics. It never sinks in the center. When the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, December 6, 1941, the Japanese were basing their success on the laid-back 20s and 30s generation in America, the flappers. They gauged us by what they saw at Berkeley. They made a critical mistake. Even a good dog has a right to bite, and bite we did. We had to invent an atom bomb to kill enough Japanese to appease our anger. Then came the baby boom in the 50s. Dr. Smock, may he smoke a turd in hell, taught us that reasoning with children was far better than spanking. These children spilled out into the streets, smoked everything that would burn, and screwed everything that had a heartbeat and a few things that didn't. Then they ran for Congress. And that ended up being you people, the very nincompoops who conducted that hearing last week. The mentors of the millennials, the laziest, freakiest, most dumbed-down generation since Adam ate apple pie. Remember that pendulum. Right now as I type, there is a 10-year-old girl. She is hearing the news and not buying any of it. She is among the first generation to be completely bathed in the internet age. The first generation that feels weird opening a book. The first generation that thinks it knows it all, because it probably does. They have to. They have had only themselves because all moral cognitive thought has long been banished from the human equation. As she hears the LBTGQ talk about 57 genders, she can take a pee and know it's all a lie. When she sees Bruce Jenner, she turns on her iTunes, listens to Dude Looks Like a Lady, and laughs her juvenile ass off. As she heard your so-called hearing, she knew the senators had long lived past their usefulness. She reads the labels on her food because she knows the food is all flavored with herbicides. In 20 years, she will run for Congress. The Z generation, as it's known, is simple. If the Russian president threatens us, they'll just drop a nuclear bomb on the Kremlin. If the Muslims knock down a business center in New York, they'll just blow up the Kaaba. If illegals stream over the border, they'll just reinstitute slavery. Absurd, you say. You people have redefined absurdity and inflicted upon the American people the biggest absurdity of them all, yourselves. As we watch the country spin out of control and wonder if anything can be done, that little girl sits and waits and counts the years. Because of people like Dr. Spock and protective services and police screaming, "Show me your hands," she knows she's on her own, and her only allegiance is to the others of her generation. She'll show her hand with the middle finger sticking straight up. She has one level or another of reactive attachment disorder, but it's not a disorder. It's a method of survival. She will separate the sheep from the goats. Then she will make the logical choice because she has the conscience of a rather mature tomato. And we are the choice. If you are over 30, you will see what her choice will be. Prepare yourselves, you people. Your bunks are waiting.